You want me to put that on my Tudor?
Harry's wife. They're finished. The New York Post, with an article by Nika Shackners-Rover, writes, Meghan Kelly says Prince Harry and Harry's wife simply won't recover from a recent South Park episode that mocked the exiled royals. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex's decision to move across the pond in a desperate bid for privacy was mercilessly ridiculed in the show's latest episode titled The Worldwide Privacy Tour. I feel this is a pronouncement that they have jumped the shark. They are not beloved, and her hopes of running for president, reported hopes, are all but dashed, Kelly 52 said on the Meghan Kelly show released last Friday. That's not happening. When South Park turns on you, there's no recovering. Kelly was referring to the widespread speculation that the Duchess of Sussex is eyeing a career in politics, adding fuel to the fire of unconfirmed reports that she got her sights set on the White House. While the Sussexes have yet to publicly react to the animated episode, it seemingly proved to be a popular hit among viewers. The episode, which begins with a disclaimer saying all characters, even if they're based on real people, are fictional, centres around a couple who move to a fictional town for privacy. And even though the episode doesn't explicitly name the couple, viewers notice that the pair look exactly like the royals and even wear the same outfits as they do. Indeed, throughout the episode, of course, they ridiculed Harry's wife by having her wear the flying saucer hat throughout. Elsewhere in the episode, the pair promote the prince's new book titled Wah, which bears an uncanny resemblance to Prince Harry's recently released memoir, Spare. We just want to be normal people. All this attention is so hard, the prince says in the episode after admitting he hates journalists. The couple later boards a flashy private jet and set off on their worldwide privacy tour. As for Harry's wife's rumoured political bid, unconfirmed reports suggesting that the mum of two has been forging connections with top Democrats have long circulated. Despite endless whispers, there is no solid evidence that she's interested in running for an elected office. Now, of course, this is something that Harry's wife would love to do. Why? Because, as I've explained elsewhere, narcissists are often drawn to political office. It allows the assertion of control through the wielding of political power. It allows the granting of fuel from so many millions of people, tens of millions of people. It gives access to character traits and, of course, residual benefits, money, networks, facade management, and therefore it's hugely appealing to narcissists, and that's why the political environment is such a viper's nest of narcissists. And Harry's wife is no exception. She would be absolutely awful and would be eaten alive because of her lack of intellect and the fact that her passive-aggressive narcissism would be unsuited to such political office. But that wouldn't necessarily stop her from trying because of the level of delusion that exists. In March 2021, the New York Post continues, investigative journalist Tom Bauer, who is writing a forthcoming unauthorized biography of Harry's wife, said he believes it's likely that the Duchess of Sussex will try her hand at politics. The prospect of Harry's wife running for president is possible, and I'd even say likely, Bauer told Closer magazine, as DailyMail.com reported at the time. I really believe it's where she sees herself going. In the run-up to the 2020 election between President Donald Trump and Vice President Joe Biden, conservatives accused Prince Harry and Harry's wife of interfering by encouraging Americans to register to vote. It shows hypocrisy. The famous couple also warned Americans about the spread of misinformation and condemned hate speech in a video for Time 100. But Meghan Kelly says that there's no coming back for them as a consequence of being lampooned and ridiculed on South Park. Certainly the fact that such a prominent show has done this, highlighting the very behaviours that so many people on social media have lampooned them for, is demonstrative of the fact that they're a laughing stock. Furthermore, the glee by which this has been met, both in terms of ordinary people on social media and through news networks demonstrates how far their stock has fallen, and Meghan Kelly may well be correct that there's no coming back from it. Of course, that doesn't mean, unfortunately, that Harry's wife is going to go away. Like the influshable turd that she is, her narcissism will continue to cause her to pop up as she pursues the prime aims. But the fact is that her reputation has taken a significant dent with this programme. And it may well be the case that she turns and blames Harry for this fall from grace, thus hastening his disengagement because he's served his purpose. But there's more observations about the fact that they're seen as laughing stocks, and this time by Maureen Callahan, adding to the question of, are they finished, by stating, well, she wanted to be a cartoon princess. Now, thanks to the brilliant minds at South Park, Harry's wife is one. In Worldwide Privacy Tour, which aired Wednesday night, Harry's wife and Prince Harry were savaged as hypocritical publicity hounds who nonetheless demand to be left alone. After promoting his memoir, here called Wah, the Prince and Princess of Canada moved to South Park, whose children cannot abide their insufferability. At one point, the outraged prince flashes his frostbitten penis to a child, while defending his wife. It then, in the article by Maureen Callahan in the Daily Mail, describes some of the exchanges that have gone on. And basically, you have to wonder, she writes, what the mood is in Monty Shitshow at present. The online reaction from us normal people, nothing short of a rousing standing ovation, which would, of course, further support that they may well be sunk. Do Harry and Harry's wife get it now? Do they understand that they are laughingstocks, not just around the world, but in the province Harry's wife values above all others, Hollywood? South Park. Grade A+, chef's kiss. This was a perfect episode. The only possible criticism, what took Trey Parker and Matt Stone so long? Granted, it seems every week does bring a brand new hypocrisy. One must work hard to keep up. Because I'm from the States, you don't grow up with the same understanding of the royal family, and so while I now understand very clearly there's a global interest there, I didn't know much about him. That was Harry's wife in November 2017, seated next to Prince Harry as they gave their first interview to the BBC as a newly engaged couple. A fair number of people, myself included, found it nearly impossible, laughable really, to believe that Harry's wife, creature of Hollywood and student of fame, had little idea who Prince Harry or the British royal family was, or that this self-professed smart, savvy, well-cultured woman had not so much as Googled her fair prince before their first date. No social climber she. It all sounded very Yoko Ono, who, upon meeting John Lennon, claimed to have never heard of him. Indeed, Harry's wife is Woko Mono. Now, could it possibly be that Harry's wife was insincere? A newly resurfaced post on her late blog, The Tig, think Goop, but more basic and obvious, reveals that Harry's wife was very familiar with the British royal family and with William and Kate's nuptials. She even wrote about the type of princess she, Harry's wife, dreamt she might someday be. Hey, Harry, don't feel too bad. Even Lennon fell for it. As he told Rolling Stone in 1971, Yoko had only heard of Ringo, I think. Ringo, not the world-famous half of the most celebrated songwriting duo of post-World War II Western civilization. When you're that well-known, it seems, nothing is as refreshing as someone who claims not to know who you are, or what you do, or why people care about you. The implication, of course, being that said ignoramus sees through the veneer of celebrity to you. They like and love you for you, not the attendant wealth or social status or privilege or refracted fame that comes with being your other half. Here's Harry's wife in her 2014 blog post, fantasizing about becoming a princess while also mocking the entire idea because she's just that cool and just that above everything, even a storied institution dating back over 11 centuries. Little girls dream of being princesses, Harry's wife wrote. I, for one, was all about She-Ra, Princess of Power. For those of you unfamiliar with the 80s cartoon reference, She-Ra is a sword-wielding royal rebel known for her strength. We're definitely not talking about Cinderella here. Grown women seem to retain this childhood fantasy. Just look at the pomp and circumstance surrounding the royal wedding and endless conversation about Princess Kate. Well, well, well. How will Harry's wife explain that away? Or as recounted by Harry, that upon meeting Prince Andrew, she thought that he was the Queen's handbag holder. Or as she told Oprah in 2021, I went into my marriage naively because I didn't grow up knowing much about the royal family. By the way, Harry's wife's growing up have been at the height of the royal family's coverage in global tabloids. Princess Di's supernova fame, the first future king ordered to divorce, Diana's death, and subsequent wall-to-wall 24/7 media coverage of her funeral. Harry's wife would have spent her formative years in the Yanomami Amazonian tribe, thoroughly cut off from the modern world to have known so very little about the royals. How will Harry's wife explain, as she claimed in last year's insipid Netflix doc, that she had no idea how to curtsy, or why it was important to show respect to the Queen? As she sat beside her husband, who looked pained and humiliated, Harry's wife characterised her first meeting with the late Queen Elizabeth, one of the world's most admired women, thusly. I mean, Americans will understand this, Harry's wife brayed, because we have medieval times dinner and a tournament. It was like that. What must Harry, who wrote in his memoir that Harry's wife knew almost nothing about the royals, be thinking now? Will he think to himself that his now wife knew well and good who he was? As Andrew Morton wrote in his 2018 biography, Harry's wife, her friend Inaki Priddy, said that the future Duchess was always fascinated by the royal family. She wanted to be Princess Diana 2.0. This seems to be the root of Harry's wife's self-obsessed rage, does it not? She married the spare. She'll never be the next Diana. If anything, Catherine, Princess of Wales, is carving out a similar beloved place for herself among the British people. Harry's wife is the also-ran, attempting to run a rival court out of a soulless Monty Shitshow mansion whilst decrying the uselessness of all things royal. But don't you dare not call her the Duchess of Sussex. Demonstrating, of course, her hypocrisy, her envy. Lest we forget, Harry's wife's overarching message since joining this family has been the smug, insufferable, disingenuous utterance, be kind. Hypocrisy. It's what she said in that first interview with Harry, claiming that she made it very clear to their matchmaking friend she had only one negotiable quality in a potential mate. And so the only thing that I had asked our mutual friend when she said she wanted to set us up was, I had one question. I said, well, is he nice? Because if he wasn't kind, it didn't seem like it would make sense. We all know now that Harry isn't very nice. You don't take millions from your father and cling to your titles while disparaging and insulting him, then tell the world for years that they're a family of racists before taking it all back and blaming the press for your woes while revealing all manner of your father and brother's private pain and intimate information and get you to call yourself a nice guy. On top of all of that, we're meant to feel sorry for Harry's wife and Harry. Mental health advocates, these two, it's just amazing. No matter how many discrepancies, these two evince nothing, not so much as a blushing cheek or a head hung in shame. They're like two dead-eyed sharks, moving ever forward through their chum in their wake. They don't seem to understand that credibility and authenticity is paramount when trying to launch themselves as personal brands. They also don't seem to understand what laughingstocks they've become. After the priceless Jimmy Kimmel bit about Harry and his Todger, after Stephen Colbert mocked the royal family to Harry's face during his appearances, South Park, a show that gleefully flays hypocrites of all stripes, has focused on these two professional victims. No one deserves it more. Alas, Harry and Harry's wife seem to lack the one quality that might possibly redeem them, a sense of humour. Maureen Callaghan seeming to join in with the view that Meghan Kelly has expressed that they are, of course, finished. As I've explained, Harry's wife isn't going to disappear overnight, but their downward spiral is being hastened. It's likely, therefore, as Harry will find himself disengaged from sooner rather than later as a consequence of this recent appearance on South Park, that she will take it out on him. And the realization, although not acceptance, but the realization that so many people find them laughable is meaning that in terms of getting back to where they once were, that will never be achieved. And Harry's wife is going to have to go scrambling for those prime aims elsewhere. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.